Hello, aviation enthusiast. Welcome back to Skyward Fighter. Today, we're diving into what could be the most disruptive leap in military aviation since stealth technology. America's seventh-generation Ghost jet is finally breaking cover, and insiders say it's about to land, literally, on the deck of the USS Gerald Ford, the Navy's most advanced aircraft carrier. Unlike the jets we've seen in Top Gun or military parades, this one doesn't follow any rulebook. With a tailless, sleek triangle frame, smart skin sensors, and artificial intelligence at its core, it can fly at speeds over 6,000 miles per hour, and even control a robotic wingman squadron mid-air. Yes, you heard that right. We're talking about a fighter that's more than a jet. It's a command center, drone commander, and missile-evading ghost, all in one. And with China and Russia watching closely, tensions are bound to spike as soon as this monster takes flight from a U.S. carrier. For decades, carrier-based aircraft were the Navy's Achilles heel. Lighter, slower, and shorter-ranged than their land-based enemies. But now, the game has changed. Historically, the Navy struggled to match land-based air power. Carrier jets had to be compact to launch from sea, meaning they sacrificed range and firepower. This was a concern as nations like China rolled out long-range missiles and advanced fighters capable of dominating the skies. But that all changes with the arrival of the Navy's NGAD, Next Generation Air Dominance program. These jets are built not only to compete, but to dominate. Unlike the old FA-18 Super Hornets, these fighters work in squads, with each pilot commanding several autonomous drones, also known as collaborative combat aircraft. Imagine it. One human in the cockpit, and an intelligent flock of drones following his lead, each carrying fuel, weapons, or sensors. It's a radical shift where one person now does the job of five, thanks to AI and real-time data analysis. Forget missiles. The USS Gerald Ford has something even deadlier, an invisible beam of light that vaporizes threats mid-air in seconds. The fighter jet isn't the only high-tech marvel in play. Meet the Helios laser, a 150-kilowatt directed energy weapon mounted on the Gerald Ford. Unlike traditional missiles, it doesn't run out of ammo. As long as the ship has power, the laser keeps firing. The Helios can instantly neutralize incoming missiles, drones, and even low-flying aircraft. It's fast, precise, and unstoppable. Combined with the new fighters, it transforms the USS Gerald Ford into a floating fortress capable of projecting unmatched power anywhere on Earth. Most people didn't even know this tech existed until 2020, when whispers from the Air Force confirmed that an early NGAD prototype had already flown. That revelation sent shockwaves through defense circles, confirming that the Navy was not only catching up, it was pulling ahead. From sea to space? What if your next fighter jet didn't just dominate the skies, but also dipped into space? The future of air combat is climbing beyond Earth's atmosphere. As the sun dipped behind the carrier and the new fighter launched into the night, it left more than a vapor trail. It left questions, big ones. Could this next generation of warplanes push even higher, beyond the sky and into space? The answer, it turns out, is yes, and it's already underway. American engineers in labs coast to coast are designing aircraft that do more than fly fast. They'll transition from air to low Earth orbit. With hypersonic capability, faster than Mach 5, these jets could cross continents in minutes. Imagine taking off from New York and landing in Tokyo before your coffee gets cold. But speed like that comes with challenges. When a jet hits over 6,000 kilometers per hour, it generates friction that melts traditional materials. That's why NASA and the Air Force are investing in futuristic heat-resistant composites that can handle temperatures over 2,000 degrees Celsius without falling apart mid-flight. How do you power a machine that flies too fast for a jet engine? You throw out the engine entirely. To handle these speeds, regular jet engines won't cut it. Enter the scramjet, short for supersonic combustion ramjet. It's an engine with no moving parts. Instead, it compresses air at high speeds to create powerful thrust. The faster the jet goes, the better the scramjet performs. The Air Force's Mayhem project has been testing these next-gen engines since 2018. They're unlocking the ability for jets not just to fly high, but to briefly touch space. By riding suborbital paths, like skipping stones over water, these fighters can perform long-range strikes, avoid radar detection, and return without ever being seen. And the advantages don't stop there. These hypersonic flyers can launch tiny satellites to restore communications, collect intelligence, or even jam enemy systems, all from altitudes where no anti-aircraft weapon can reach. Space wars are closer than you think. The space race isn't about astronauts anymore. It's about fighter jets, and the next battlefield might be orbit. DARPA has been working quietly on airspace transition vehicles since 2020. Crafts that don't need rockets or launch pads to get into orbit. But there are risks. Radiation beyond the atmosphere can fry sensitive electronics, or even harm pilots. That's why new shielding methods and AI-controlled avionics are being developed. At those altitudes, pilots can't rely on muscle memory. The pace is too fast. So, computers, not humans, must manage the impossible. Energy is another challenge. You can't just fuel up in space. Hydrogen propulsion is one promising solution. It offers immense power and creates only water as a byproduct. A perfect fit for long-distance missions that require stealth and sustainability. America's not alone anymore. Russia and China are already in the race, and the prize isn't just air superiority, it's dominance over the entire sky. While the US refines its hypersonic strategies, other nations are closing the gap. China is pouring billions into its spacefighter programs. Russia's PAK-DP is their answer to American supremacy, built to fly at the edge of the atmosphere. Whoever cracks the code to sustainable, space-capable air dominance first will hold a game-changing advantage. But this isn't just about tech, it's about laws. The 1967 Outer Space Treaty bans nuclear weapons in orbit, but says nothing about conventional arms or temporary military operations. As legal experts scramble to update space warfare doctrine, the UN faces new debates. Should a fighter jet be allowed to strike from space? And if it can, how do we even detect it? At 6,000 miles per hour, even a blink is too slow. The next pilot might not be a person, it might be a program. Even the best trained pilots can't think in microseconds. Hypersonic combat needs split-second decision-making, which means artificial intelligence has to step in. The Air Force is already building support bases with reinforced hangars, special fuel systems, and AI-ready control rooms. And AI isn't just helping, it's taking over. In high-tech labs, smart systems are already flying virtual fighters in mock dogfights against the best human pilots, and winning. Project Maven, launched in 2017, was just the start. What began as object recognition for drones has become full-blown combat autonomy. These systems can now track targets through smoke, clouds, and electronic interference, and shoot first when needed. This final section dives into AI-powered aircraft design, manufacturing innovations, stealth breakthroughs, and the global defense race. No cockpit, no problem. Forget the pilot seat. Future warplanes won't need one. What's flying America's next fighter jets? Artificial intelligence. In the next decade, the pilot might be phased out entirely. The newest prototypes don't include cockpits at all. No canopy, no flight stick, no dashboard. Instead, they're built around processors, cooling systems, and high-speed data flows. These aircraft aren't machines that follow orders. They're machines that think. They control weapons, avoid threats, and plan evasive maneuvers in real time, learning with each mission. Engineers call them flying supercomputers, and that's not an exaggeration. Inside virtual labs, before a single rivet is made, AI is already running simulations, fighting F-35s, dodging missiles, and solving problems before they occur. It's survival of the smartest, with only the best designs moving from simulation to factory floor. Built by lasers, tested by algorithms. These jets aren't assembled by hand. They're printed, and they're tested in battle before they're even real. Across secretive hangars in Nevada and California, massive 3D printers layer titanium and carbon fiber into complex parts that human hands couldn't shape. This additive manufacturing method speeds up production and cuts waste. What used to take years now takes weeks. Need a stronger wing? Change the CAD file, hit print, and test it virtually that same day. Real-time data from simulated flights lets engineers tweak designs faster than ever. Military strategists love the flexibility. Instead of building hundreds of identical jets that could be obsolete in a decade, they can produce small batches, constantly evolving each generation. Like software updates, only these updates fly at Mach 6, the jet that sees everything. What if your jet didn't just see the enemy? It became the sensor. Say hello to Smart Skin. Another innovation is Smart Skin. Instead of mounting bulky radar domes or external sensors, the aircraft itself is the sensor. Thousands of microscopic nodes built into the outer shell give it 360-degree awareness. These jets don't have blind spots. They know when they're being tracked, from what direction, and by what kind of radar. And they don't keep that information to themselves. AI instantly shares the data with every friendly aircraft in the area, creating a synchronized swarm. Add to that unmanned drone fighters flying in formation, some carrying weapons, others acting as decoys or scouts. At a fraction of the cost, these autonomous wingmen expand the capabilities of a single jet without risking more human lives. Ethics at 6,000 miles per hour. Can a robot understand restraint? When machines decide to fire, who's really in control? With AI taking the reins, the question of control becomes critical. By law, a human must retain meaningful control over combat decisions. But in reality, at hypersonic speeds, a human brain just can't keep up. The Navy has already formed advisory panels to tackle these issues, ensuring AI follows international law and avoids unnecessary harm. Still, how do you teach a machine the value of human life? Or the difference between an immediate threat and a mistaken target? Even with careful programming, the battlefield is unpredictable. That's why AI pilots are trained using billions of combat simulations, sharpening their decision-making like a gamer practicing speedruns. But the stakes are real. What's more terrifying than a jet you can't shoot down? One you can't even see. Stealth isn't just about hiding on radar anymore. These jets look like something out of a UFO file. No tail fins, no jagged edges, no visible engine intakes. Just a smooth, seamless triangle that confuses even experienced pilots. Earlier stealth aircraft like the F-117 Nighthawk used angular panels to scatter radar. Then came the B-2 Spirit, curving those surfaces. Now, engineers have removed every element that might reflect detection, even replacing stabilizers with air jets controlled by AI. To hide from infrared detection, the jet's exhaust is cooled and spread across a wide area. It won't leave a hot trail for heat-seeking missiles. And to top it off, some models feature adaptive camouflage, panels that change color to match the sky or ground. Fighter evolution versus fighter revolution. Sometimes slow and steady wins the war. One bomber may outlive every jet on this list. The US may be sprinting toward 7th generation dominance, but not all aircraft follow the same path. Take the B-52 bomber, first flown in 1955. With constant upgrades, it's expected to serve for nearly 100 years. That's the power of smart evolution. Not every aircraft needs to be scrapped for something new. Modular design lets militaries replace sensors, swap weapons, and upgrade software without redesigning the whole jet. It's also cheaper. Experts estimate that modular upgradable jets cut costs by up to 40%. And with tight budgets, even top militaries are embracing this plug-and-play approach, a marketing move that changed everything. Believe it or not, the whole concept of fighter generations started as a marketing gimmick, and it changed global defense forever. Here's a wild fact. The term fifth-generation fighter was invented by Lockheed Martin in the early 2000s to hype the F-35. It wasn't a technical term, it was branding, but it worked. Suddenly, everyone, from generals to journalists, was classifying jets in generations. Older models were demoted. Countries scrambled to match the fifth-gen label. China's J-20 was called their first fifth-gen fighter, even though other jets had similar capabilities. This marketing trick sparked a trillion-dollar race. Japan accelerated its stealth program. India and South Korea launched next-gen fighters. Europe formed defense alliances like the Tempest and Future Combat Air System to keep pace with the US. And now, with 6th-gen flying and 7th-gen concepts underway, we're looking at a future where the next great warplane might not even look like a plane. It might not even need a pilot or wings. So, what do you think? Will the future of air combat be led by ghost jets, AI brains, or space fighters? Let us know in the comments, and if you want to see more future tech, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked to Skyward Fighter.